Hello, in this video we're going to create a sample macro. We're going to create what I call a birthday reminder. As you can see in this practice file I have here, I have names of people. So let's say these are my contacts, my friends, maybe my accounts, people I manage at work, clients, and these are their phone numbers, their contact email, and then their birthdays. So these are the dates of their birthday. What I want to do is I want to create a macro that will alert me, anytime I open this file, the macro should alert me who are those who their birthdays this week, today and the next 7 days. Maybe I plan to send them a gift, send them a birthday message, SMS. So, and in reality, you want to use this for maybe if you have a really large list. So let's say maybe these are your clients list, probably 200, 500 people. And in this practice, I'm going to show you how easily you can create it. All right. So I'm going to take you through my very simple steps of creating macro. Even though I do macro for a living, I still use those steps. They are error proof. Okay, I'm going to assume that you don't already have developer tab opened in yours. Developer tab enabled. So if you don't have it enabled, I already have it enabled, but yours might not be enabled if you have not done the step I want to show you. You go to File, you go to Options, you go to Customize Ribbon, and you look for Developer tab over here. So yours might be like this if you had not enabled it. By default, this is the way it will be. So you just tick it and do OK. Once you do that, you'll be able to see developer tab like I am seeing in mine now. Okay, so let's create a macro. There are many ways to start the creation of a macro, but I'm going to show you a way that it won't take you too much stress. It's kind of easy and direct. So you see this record macro button, we're going to click on it. So I'm going to click on it and I'll call the macro birthday reminder. If you like, you give it a keyboard shortcut. We skip that for now. Then I can give it a description. So I'll say automatic birthday reminder macro. Okay, so I'll click on OK. Immediately I click on OK, I won't do anything. I'll go right back to that same place I clicked to do the record macro. Now it's showing click to stop. I'll click on stop. The reason I'm doing this is when I come here to developer tab and macros, I will see that macro already created for me and I can easily do edit. And that way I have the skeleton. So I find this easy to use to teach people, and like I said, I also use it a lot. It's kind of very straightforward instead of me having to go and insert a module, and it does all of this for me instantly, so I can focus on creating the macro. So we're going to create the macro now. What I want, like I've explained, what I want the macro to do is to check through my list of contacts, right? Starting from from the last person up to the first person, and then specifically the birthdays, and see if there's anyone whose birthday is between today and the next 7 days. Okay, so I'm going to follow that logic in creating the macro. First, I'm going to declare some variables. Okay, so let me bring this fully here. So I'm going to declare, first of all, I'll need a variable called last row. I'll need that to detect what's the last row of my contact in that Excel spreadsheet. And then I'll need some 2 dummy variables, which I'll use because I'm going to eventually loop through all the contacts. And then this second one is just to help me detect if I found someone or not. Well, as I go on, I'll explain when I'm using them. And then another one, date, person's date. So this is to grab the dates. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to start first with the last row. So for last row, I want to detect the last row in my contact. So there are many ways to do this. You could do, if you are familiar with Excel keyboard shortcuts, you can go to the top. So you start from the first and do Control down. So if you do Control down, Excel jumps to the last record. So the issue with this method is if for any reason there is a name missing, say maybe there was no name in here, if you follow that method, you'll see that you'll see that I won't be able to, my program won't not recognize that I have these other contacts there. So it's usually safe to start from the bottom of Excel. So you start from the bottom of Excel and you jump up. So it's safer to do that and use that to find your last record row. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to go back to the VBA and tell it to go to the last row in, specifically we'll use column D because that's where the dates are, and tell it to jump up and then get us the row. So I'll go back here, and just what I said is what I'll do. Let's drag this back into full view. So say equal to range and then range D, but the row count is going to be all the rows in the Excel, so the last row in Excel. So count rows.count. This is good in case someone opens it on different versions of Excel. You know, like 2007 has approximately 1,041,000 rows. 2013 and 16 has 1,048,000. You don't want to add code any specific number. You want Excel to figure out what's the last row. So that's what this will do. It will do, like in my own case, in this case, I have 1,048,576. So instead of add coding that figure in there, right, I'm essentially telling Excel to count all the rows, and it will, when it counts, this is the number it will get. So it will now be D1048576. Okay, so let's go back here, and that will get me the last row in D, in column D. But I want to jump up, so I'm going to do end. So that's the VBA for jumping up. So end Excel up, right? So that will do the jump up that I was saying here. So I'm essentially doing this. So now the VBA has done up to this stage, but I'm not just jumping up. I want to grab that rule. So I'm going to tell the VBA that also, now you are done jumping up, grab for me the row number. So that will be the last row number. Okay, so that is done. And next thing I'm going to I want to create this, remember I said these two, I'm going to use them as dummy variables, like something just to help me with some internal plumbing. So let's start with the J. I'm going to set J equal to 0. You'll get reason why I'm doing that later on, because I want to detect if there is anybody having a birthday today and the next 7 days. So if there is nobody having a birthday between today and the next 7 days, I want to be able to track that. As I move on, you will understand. So now let's loop through all the records. So I'm going to say, use the next dummy variable, hi. So I'll say hi equals to, so the first record is going to be where, as you will notice, the first row is the row header. So this first record is starting from the row 2, and that's what I'll do. I'll tell it to go to start from row 2 to last row, and I'm going to grab the date. So I want to grab the date showing up in the birthday column. So the thing with the date is, I don't want to bother people about, and again, this is something I want to keep using every year. So as you can see, the date here is, if you look at it here, is showing as 2011-2013. Maybe the person even entered 2011, 1989 or 1974. So I don't want to bother about the year part. I only need the month, the day and the month, right? So that's why I'm creating a date variable specifically for that. That will grab for me. So it's going to grab the current year. So I'm going to this is how you recreate a date in VBA. So date serial, it's going to ask for year. So the year I want it to grab for me is the year from today, right? Today in Excel, well, it's actually today open bracket close bracket, but in VBA it's just date. You don't. So that will get you the current date, but now that will get me the current year we are in, and then I'll grab the month. So I'll grab the month from this cell, the birthday cell, which is cell row, whatever row we are on. So row 2 in this case now. So row high, and then column 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what I'll do here. So I'm going to say cells row high, whatever row we are evaluating now, and column 4. Okay, and I want to grab, though if you omit this value it will still pick it, but let's do things by the book. So go into that cell, because that cell is an object, and grab me the value property. So the value of it, and the value is actually a date, so now we are passing that to the month. So grab the month part of that date. Okay, and I'll do the same for day. Again, the cell, the row we are on, grab me from the fourth column the value, but the day part of it, and we are done with that. So that will generate for me the date. So next I'm going to check if that date is within today and the next 8 days. So I'm going to say that date, is it greater than or equal to today's date? So today's date is date, and at the same time, is it less than 8 days from now? So that's like, is it between today and the next 7 days? So plus 8. So if that is the case, I want you to set that. So this dummy variable, set it to 1. So that's why we know, yes, we found the record that is between today and the next 7 days. And then generate a message box. But first of all, format the dates. It will have been really good if I put this as its own variable. So because it seems I'm writing it, I've written it here, I've written it there, everything, I'm going to write it here again. So sometimes it's really a good idea, whatever particular chunk of code you keep writing over and over again, just maybe create a dummy variable, put it in it, and just like we did for date, so we won't have to type out this anywhere. You just use that dummy variable wherever you need. But okay, let's leave it this way. But if I'm going to fine-tune this, I'll take this part and give it its own variable. But let's move on. Let's achieve the goal. So grab out the date for me, but in this specific format. I want it in this format. 2 letters for the day, and spell out the entire month for me. So that will be 4 hems. If you're familiar with Excel, the text format in Excel, you will know what this is. Or if you've gone and done formatting, custom formatting, you'll be familiar with this. VBA builds on top of your Excel knowledge. Sometimes I see people who say, oh, they want to learn VBA and they are not currently sound in Excel. It's really going to be very difficult, because it's just like finance. You can't be good in finance if you don't know accounting, because accounting is the language of finance. So the same thing too with VBA. You can't be good in Excel VBA if you don't know Excel, because Excel is, well, the language of VBA. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to grab the day and the month part out, and I'm going to say, so that maybe 3rd of November is so person's birthday. So his name is in column 1, right? So I'm going to grab the person's name. So hi, but the first column, I'm grabbing out the person's name, and I'm going to join it to, and say that is his birthday. So I'm going to say his birthday. So Michael's birthday. The 3rd of November is Michael's birthday. Okay, and this is getting really long, so I'm going to do this to continue on another line. So that's how you, in VBA, you break a line into multiple lines. So but VBA will still interpret it as one line. And then I'm going to continue, but I want to space them out. So I don't want everything, because I want to say maybe 3rd of November is Michael's birthday. His phone number is 08063215227, and his email address is michael@olafusimichael.com. But I don't want that to be all written together. I want there to be an empty line, and then the next one, and then an empty line. So I'm going to do in VB, if I want to create an empty line, so carriage return line feed, I think I have to do this twice, because this will take this to the next line, then I want to go to the next after that. So that will be the way I'll create one full empty line. Okay, and then say his phone number is sales hi. So let's see, phone numbers are where? On column 2, so that is 2, and value, right? And let's do that same, creating new line. So I'll put his email address on another completely different line. So I'm going to do that's Visual Basic carry return line feed, and then I'm going to break the line again. But before breaking it, let's okay, and his email is sales. Let's check where emails are. 3rd column. And value. Okay, and it's expecting, what have I done wrong? Okay, it's expecting made an error here. Okay, perfect. So that's the issue with when you write this multi-long. Okay, great. So I think it's issues with my closing bracket, opening bracket. All right, so once, and I think that's all I need the if to do. So I'll come here and if, and also go to the next loop. Okay, so just the final bit now. So if j is still equal to 0, meaning we couldn't find any record, then another message box, but this one will be what should we say, no birthday today, tomorrow, and the next 7 days. Okay, so no birthday today, tomorrow, and the next 7 days. There is no birthday today, tomorrow, and the next 7 days, and this should do it. Right, so I'm going to save. In fact, let's run it. So you can run it from here before you we'll go and tie to a button over there. So I'm going to run it from here. Okay, and you see the way it's working. So let's see who this is. It's found someone, Chimeze Akarachi's birthday. It says it's the 3rd of November, which is today. His phone number is a lady, so I have to, before I get sued for being is it feminist. So okay, so I will just change this to his or her now. But you can see it's gotten one person. If I do okay, to keep looping and checking for another. So it's found someone else whose birthday is within today and next 7 days. And there's another person. So I think it found 3 people. So let's just do that minor change of so I'm going to say his or her. His or her. Okay, so I'm saving that. So the next bit I want to do is, I don't just want this to run on whenever I don't want the user to come here to run it, right? It will make more sense if we put in a button here and then allow the user to click on the button and it runs, right? So that's what we'll do. So I'll come into developer here and do insert, and let's pick a form control. So let's pick form control button. This is button, the first control. So I click on it and I draw a button this size. This size is good. So the moment I release my hand, it brings this out. So I click on the birthday reminder and say it should tie that button to that. So I'll do okay. Then I'll come in here and change the name here. So I'm going to say let's call it birthday reminder. Okay, and what will happen now is whenever I click on this, it will run the macro and keep checking who has a birthday today, next 7 days. Okay, this is cool, but we can do better, right? What if I want a situation where if you let me explain to you what I mean. So if I want a situation where this is closed, let's say you're done for the day, you've gone home, 1 week has passed, it's a whole new week, and you open the file. So I'm going to open the file, birthday reminder. I want Excel to immediately greet me, immediately it opens the file, it should show me those who have birthdays today and the next 7 days, right? So to do that, I'll have to go back to the developer tab. So I'm going to have to go back to Visual Basic. Okay, so this was the one we did. So in this case, you go to this workbook, because what we want is, we want this macro to run every time you open the workbook. So we're going to go to this workbook, and then you come in here and choose workbook, and there are so many available. It's open we want whenever you open the workbook, right? I want the macro to run. So I'm going to call that macro. I'm going to call the macro, the name of the macro is birthday reminder. This is how see, birthday reminder. Maybe I'll just copy the name, and then I'll come back here and say call it, and that's just all. So I'm going to save this, and if I close the file and then I open the file again, you see, instantly it shows me those birthday, macro starts running instantly. I think this distracted us, so let me close this editor. Okay, so you wouldn't, so I'm going to save, close, and then I'll open it again. So this time it will look a lot more like what it will happen in real, when you don't have the editor open. Okay, so can you see, instantly it starts telling me, oh, we have this people's birthday, this and this person. So that is it for this one, and I hope you've learned a few things, and watch out for the next video. Thank you.